Welcome to the Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent and Jodibailey. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. Today, Brent and Jody welcome
the supervising producer of Let's Make a Deal and the co-host of Full Life TV, Joseph Mancuso.
And now, Brent and Jodibailey.
Hey everybody, happy Friday! Welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. It's Brent Bailey. Did you get your taxes filed yesterday? I hope you did. If you didn't, you better be getting those extensions filed quick. Wow, what a year to be doing that. Joining me over at the tech booth right now is Jody and Preston.
I did my taxes.
Did you?
Did you do your
You got them done,
taxes,
did you?
Yeah.
That's
good. It
Good
involves,
job, son.
Numbers, you know that, right?
All right.
So,
well,
yeah.
Welcome to the show today. We got a great guest. We've known him for a number of years. It's him and his whole family. But he is one of the producers that is, I guess the producer of Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady. I know that there's a lot of you out there that probably watch that during the day.
Yeah.
I grew up watching the one with Monty Hall.
Yeah, and then there was, what's the other guy's name? Oh, there was another guy that was on, blonde guy with glasses. Anyway. Oh, Let's Make a Deal. Okay.
You're thinking of The Price is Right.
I am thinking of The Price is
Right.
No.
So,
you know,
Let's
when
Make
I
a
grew
Deal.
up,
You get this curtain or whatever I have in my pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
that. Okay, so I mean, you know what's so cool about our guest today is that when you say we knew him when he was very young.
Yeah.
And Preston's over here agreeing. And so just to see him grow up and do the things he's doing is amazing.
Yeah, it is,
So
and it's something that you kind of just look at and go, wow.
You don't want to miss this interview.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of great things to say today. And so, with that being said, let's get to it. We don't have a lot of time
No, we
today.
don't, because it's a good long interview. And so today is National Eggs Benedict Day. Anybody like Eggs Benedict?
I do. They are good.
I do too. It's good, right?
They are good.
It's a great, brunch type of item.
Yeah, that's it's usually an egg that's usually kind of runny, right?
Yes.
And there's
No,
is
not
it
so much it's English muffin.
English muffin
And ham, and then hollandaise sauce. And it's so good.
Yeah, it is. It is extremely
It's very
good.
So make yourself that for dinner.
Yeah. All right. So what else is going on?
Today's also National Healthcare Decisions Day. Healthcare Decisions Day.
Now, what does that mean?
It means about it's that music's making me laugh. Important. We have to focus our attention on making important advanced care planning.
Oh, all right.
So
all right.
sometimes it can be for a sad situation, but really when we plan what our health care is going to be, we're prepared in advance, and it's a smart thing. Yes,
it is
exactly.
a smart thing to do. All right.
One more we'll mention is National Orchid Day.
Wow.
Now, orchids, you see a lot of orchids on the in Hawaii, in the Hawaiian Islands.
Yes,
right?
and we're getting ready to go there.
We are getting ready to go there. So, orchids are absolutely beautiful flowers, and so, maybe go. They say go smell the roses. Well, I just say go smell the orchids. I don't know if they've got a very fragrant smell. I can't remember, but they are beautiful.
I would think that they would.
I think they probably do.
Most of the pretty flowers do. So
just learn a little bit about if you are into the planting flowers or anything like that. Maybe plant an orchid.
All right, let me drop one thing on you real quick, and I know that our friends that would want to know this. Reese's has come out with, along with Hip Dot Cosmetics, a Reese's makeup collection, including not just the brushes, the color palettes that are orange and tan and things like that, but they have lip balms.
Well, okay, I can handle that.
I'm just going to say right now, if they have the smallest taste of a Reese's peanut butter cup, you're going to get about 1 trillion of those for every
holiday.
romantic holiday from now on.
Yeah,
Don't be
exactly.
tempted to eat it
Well, that's the whole point. See, I'd get to kiss your mom, and it would be more than I already do.
Yeah, I'd be like, honey, you're kissing me a lot more than normal.
Anyway. All right, so let's get to it. Here it is. It's Preston tells a joke as he dies from embarrassment about his parents kissing over there. Our oldest boy is testing his comedy wings out. Right now, he's 2 for 2. He's told 2 killers. And so, Preston, tell us a joke.
Why can't the pony sing?
I don't know why.
I have no idea.
Because she's a little horse.
Oh, all right, excellent. Preston tells a joke. All right, great job, son.
Yes.
You're 3 for 3.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to our guest today. We have got a great interview set up for you, so let's expand your search. My guest today is Joseph Mancuso. He's been blessed to work successfully in television production for the past 13 years. Most notably, he is a supervising producer for Let's Make a Deal. He's also had the privilege of working on shows such as The Little Mermaid Live, the Miss USA pageant, and the Academy Awards. Last year, he was extremely excited to combine his professional expertise with the passion for his faith when he started a Christian panel talk show that Jody's sister Jenny is a part of. It's called The Full Life, and it's a dream that he's had for over 10 years. Let's take a look.
This show, it's called The Full Life.
Really, an abundant life was Jesus' mission statement.
And that's what the key to abundant life is for me, is God's kingdom here on earth.
That we've got to get this message of hope out of Jesus Christ.
Are we embracing the fullness that life has to offer?
All right, there you go. It's The Full Life TV, and I am so excited to have him on the program today. Please welcome to the show, Joseph Mancuso. Joe, how are you? Great to see you, man.
Hi, Brent. Thanks for having me. I feel so privileged after all the guests you've had recently. Your show is doing tremendous, and I'm so excited to see it grow over the last year.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's so funny that these things just kind of happen. These shows kind of started around the same time, and I'll let everybody in on a little secret. We were kind of going back and forth about whether or not we were going to work together on a show before COVID, before everything. We were in discussions with me and you and Jenny, and looking at some things, and COVID just kind of forced everybody's hand into something, and it's a blessing, though, isn't it?
You know what? It really was, because and particularly when it came to The Full Life, because we've been able to meet people, and I'm sure you experience this too. We've been able to meet people in states across the country where we would have had to fly people. We were talking about a real traditional set, all of this stuff that would have cost so much more money, and it would have been much more hassle logistically. And it's just been so great to meet people and get those perspectives that you probably wouldn't have been able to get in a traditional setting. So.
All right, well, we're gonna really get to the Full Life in just a minute. Let's talk a little bit. Some of our viewers would not be familiar with you. Now, some of the folks that would know us from the Increase events are familiar with probably your family because you guys came to those events a lot. You and your brothers, we knew you growing up and things like that. But you got into television production. How did that go about? How did that happen?
Well, believe it or not, I wrote down in first grade that I wanted to be a television producer. I wanted to make good TV, I think is what I wrote down. So it really was always a dream that I had from a very young age. But so I just always had that trajectory. I kind of knew I was going to end up in LA. It was not a surprise to my parents that I ended up in LA. I did go to college for it. I trained for television production, and I worked really hard. But gosh, what I say to people is This is a very difficult business. It is a very unforgiving business. And in college, I had a professor that said, if you could do anything else and be happy, go do it, because it's that hard. And I really took that to heart. And I kept that in my mind, but I stayed the course. And I will tell you that it was a real faith walk the first couple of years, believing that you were going to make it. And it still is. But I'm so blessed that, God has worked that out in a way that I didn't even see, so that's kind of the story.
Now, as I was reading your bio right before you came on, you're a producer now on Let's Make a Deal. Of course, those of you who are watching, some of our older folks would remember Monty Hall was the host of that. Now it's Wayne Brady. Tell us about that. How in the world did you land that job?
Well, we always talk a lot about in our Christian circles, talking about saying yes when the calling happens. And I will tell you that this show was kind of in a bind. It was picked up in the first season very late, and they were about to move the entire show to Vegas. And I was young and had no wife or kids or anything tying me to Los Angeles. So when they desperately needed someone in the last minute, I was the one that said, sure, I'll move my whole life to Las Vegas to do this show. And, I was just hoping for a season 2 when I started. And it's been such a wonderful home. I will tell you that we talk a lot about culture in churches as well, but there's a big thing about culture on shows. And the culture on that show makes the difference when you're working with good people that care about each other. And they've been able to sort of promote me throughout the years in different ways. And so I'm happy to still be there, almost now going on 12, 13 years later.
That's really amazing. I've heard that from other folks in the industry that as well as the writing and the people that you see on the screen, the reason that shows last so long is because of the crew that's working so hard together behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's just a magic that happens, and you can try, you put the best people in place, but really there is this sort of, as people say, there's this lightning in the bottle thing that happens when the right people come together, and it just works.
Yeah. Now I saw a post that you put up on social media the other day of you in the booth. It looked like you were doing like a selfie with everything behind you.
Yes.
What exactly does your job entail? What are you doing throughout a show?
Well, during the show now, I am in the booth, which is the control room. Now, it's in traditional TV. There's like there's a director and a TD switching, and then an assistant director, and then I'm in the back, and I'm kind of I'm looking to make sure that everything's clean. Like sometimes there's a camera shot off and stuff. We're taking notes, making sure what we're going to edit, if we need to redo a shot. I'm marking good lines for promo and making sure that we get what we need to make the show the best we can during the show. And then before the show, we really just, it's all about checking all the details. I mean, if it looks easy on television, we've done our job. That's what I'll say.
That was what I was going to say. Most people think of it just being this easy, snap your fingers kind of thing, and they don't realize that there's somebody like you that is actually going the extra mile behind the scenes, and it's really cool to actually meet somebody who's actually doing that on the backside. Congratulations on a great run on that, and here's to many more seasons of that. Now, you did the Miss USA or Miss America pageant and the Oscars as well. What was that like? That's a big deal.
Well, it was Oscars. Okay, so the Oscars is a great story because I tried for a couple years to just be a production assistant on the show. I just wanted to work on the show, and I kind of put that in God's camp for some. It's a long time ago now that I did it, but I remember saying, I guess it's not going to happen. I thought it was going to happen. It's not going to happen, and then they need someone last minute. And I got to go in for the last 2 days. And I remember just sitting outside thinking I was going to sit at Starbucks and going, oh no, I'm going to, again, I said yes and came over in 2 hours. And then I got to work on it. And then I worked on it the next year as well. And I still have year's poster in my hallway to remind me of what God can do. Because I believed in that moment he showed me, hey, look, you left it with me, and I made it happen.
That's super cool. Now, Joe, as we start to turn a little bit towards the full life and the ministry that's happening there, you bring up a lot of good stuff of leaving something in God's hands. I know that the full life was a dream 10 years ago. That was something that you had. I think you even when you and I and Jenny were talking, she said you and her had conversations well before we even started. This new show has been something that God has really brought full circle for you and is really now doing something. How do you get to that place from waiting into doing?
That is an amazingly great question. And I will say sometimes God just gives you a push, because I don't know if COVID didn't happen, if I would have done it, because, you always get caught up and I'm so busy. How am I going to make this happen? And of course you want to make it happen well. And you were thinking traditionally. I was always thinking about the traditional models of what the show might look like, and with people on a table and everything, and how do I make that happen with these voices? And then COVID happened. And again, there's this spirit moment where I was like, well, why don't we just see if we can put some people on it? I don't even know if it'll be a show. Let's just get together and we'll talk. We'll do one. We'll see how it happens. And then it just sort of blossomed from there. You kind of saw what it could do. And that vision was a lot bigger then. And I'll give God the credit for that too, because, what we've been able to talk about and what we've been able to really go through together as a group, was really beyond what I thought we were going to be able to do. So I give it up to him again.
I know that I'm kind of that way too. Whenever I go to do something, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy, because I want it to be so good that you go really out of your way, and you kind of obsess about it. And I can't even imagine that time period of 10 years waiting, what that's like. There are people out there that are probably in that same boat. What would you tell them as they're waiting on their dream to come to pass?
I would say really get close to God, because you need to hear when he tells you to push, and you need to hear when he tells you to wait. I would have said, as much as I had this dream 10 years ago, I was not ready to do this 10 years ago. I know I was not ready to do this 10 years ago. So it was definitely in my heart and in my spirit. And even, you mentioned the increase events. When I was in 5th grade, I remember having this vision of this whole network. And I was like, oh, I want to do it like right now. And sure, that's great. But I wasn't ready to do that. And, and you have to go step by step. And there's always a divine order. I think God's a very logical God. And I think he really puts things in a wonderful order. So that's what I would say. Overall, really get close so you can discern, in wisdom, whether he's saying to hold or go.
So let's talk about the show. You have had these panelists, and of course Jenny's one of them, Jody's sister, but then you have 2 other great co-hosts as well, and you guys have tackled some really hot topics. Was that the intention from the beginning?
Well, no, it was yes and no. I mean, I wanted to touch on the things of faith and culture, but 2020 was quite a year, and it was a heavy year, and it felt like we had to respond to what people were feeling. So we went into things that, we felt we had to go into and really go at it from a faith perspective. How do we respond as Christians? And how do we respond the best we can be and be what I like to say is the best witnesses of our faith? Because we're on the front lines. People are always going to look to us. So that's really what every show I hope we do, is how do we become the best witness about this issue that we see in culture?
And it's a very diverse cast that you have. It's you, and it's of course Jenny. Now tell us about the other 2 folks that are co-hosts there. Who are they, and what's their story?
Yes, it's again, is that lightning in the bottle thing where these people are just so wonderful and game to have these conversations so respectfully. But I will tell you, I think we come at it from the breadth of the political spectrum. We come at it from different ages and genders and racial backgrounds, and that is partly by design, but partly because it just happened that these people are really the best people for this. And Carolyn, I've talked with her for about 10 years. She's in Orlando, Florida as well.
Yep.
So I've talked with her for a while about it. And then Hank, I met through another person that I met at the Increase events, who was his friend. And I so appreciate the breadth of everyone's experience and where they come from, because I've learned a ton of stuff, and I kind of view it as a faith sharing community, because it keeps me grounded when I hear all of these different perspectives on faith. And so I really like having these conversations every week, and I hope people are enjoying having them with us, at least through the TV.
Yeah, I know that it's funny. All four of you, sometimes all four of you have a completely different perspective on things. I mean, and sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree. But it's so great to see you guys work through that. That to me is something that's so missing in America right now, that people just are like, well, you don't believe it? Well, then get out. And there's very little sharing of an opinion and why you believe it. And that's just so magical that you guys have that on the show.
I think I firmly believe that Christians should be the model in how should be talking to each other. And I know that's not happening on a macro level in politics or in American culture, but I think that Christians should be the model there. And I'm so happy that we've been able to be the model on the show. And the other thing we've kind of talked about a couple times this year is that really the truth of it all, it exists in tension a lot of the times. Like there's a lot of things that are like partly like there's a truth here and there's truth here, and there's a tension between that's where the real truth lies. And Jesus is, I think, a great example of that, because he's fully human, fully divine. That's immediate tension. And so I think that's where I found where we're really embracing the tension and being uncomfortable to show an authentic Christian faith.
It is really a great thing. What's the next step for the show, Joe? Are we going to see you eventually in a studio audience with a group of people, or what's going to happen there?
Well, I hope to grow our platform. I hope to grow into. We're going to grow into a website. We're going to grow into. I'm going to hopefully get some more eyeballs on it through different, maybe traditional channels as well as as well as digital channels. And I want people to come on board and see as much as they can this model of being able to talk to each other and not changing where our beliefs are, but how to engage in those conversations with people. And so I hope it goes into that network one day too, and we will grow into a whole day of programming, a whole week, and a whole daily programming as we have. So.
All right, Joe. As we wrap it up today, if there's somebody that's watching us today that really is just waiting for their moment, they're trying to make something happen. Give them a good parting shot here as we encourage them to get their dreams fulfilled.
Well, I first want to start by saying I don't even know if I have my moment. I will tell you, I come at it very humbly, where I will be honest in saying sometimes I don't know if I'm doing this show in a vortex, or I'm doing this, I'm doing anything where is anyone looking at what I'm actually doing, So I share those feelings. And I actually went back to a show that we did a couple weeks ago, and I'm about to release, and with Arden Bevere and his of course his parents are John and Lisa. But what I went back to was I have to continuously renew my mind and really keep perspective on what the promises of God are and what my attitude should be as a free believer in Christ. And that is super not easy. And I am not, my personality with, as you said, Brent, to be obsessive on the details is helpful in producing television, but it's not always easy when you want to renew your mind and keep focused on the things of Christ. So I have to deliberately do that. And I'm not always good at it, but you can do it. So I encourage you to keep going and keep trying to do that every day.
It's so awesome. Joe, thank you so much for your time today. We are so incredibly grateful for the time that you took for us. We're always watching. We're always seeing what you're doing with the Full Life TV. And of course, when Let's Make a Deal is on, listen, pass this along to everybody at Let's Make a Deal. I don't know if they realize it. Maybe they do. I can't tell you how many youth pastors across America have used Let's Make a Deal as an icebreaker. I did it for 20 years, and every youth camp, every crusade, everything that we ever did, we always played Let's Make a Deal, and that's been a standard for as long as I can remember. So tell them thank you for making a difference in youth ministry.
I will do that. I'll tell them they're changing the face of youth ministry.
Have a great rest of your day. God bless. And here's some information real quick. We're going to throw it up on the screen. If you'd like to catch the Full Life TV, you can follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Full Life, and also on YouTube, The Full Life. There it is. Stop by, check them out, hit the subscribe button so that you can get the new updates when the new shows drop. Thanks so much, Joe. Have a great rest of your day. Give our love to your wife and all the kids, and tell them hi for us, and we hopefully will see you soon.
Thank you so much, Brent. It's been a pleasure.
All right. That's Joseph Mancuso, and now let's stop for directions. In one of the most famous stories ever written, The Count of Monte Cristo, Alexander Dumas tells us the story of a young man named Edmund who is betrayed by his friend, imprisoned, and long thought to be dead. In this time of being banished, Edmund plans his revenge for 10 years. Besides the theme of revenge, there are a couple of themes in the book, including forgiveness and patience. In his time of planning his revenge and his future, Edmund makes this statement: until the day when God shall decide to reveal the future to man, all human wisdom is summed up in these two words: wait and hope. What a great snapshot of the life of every human being. Until God steps down and reveals to us everything we need to know, everything we know now can be summed up by wait and hope, unless you're a believer. For the believer, it's not wait and hope, it's have faith and be patient. James chapter 1 verse 2 says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials." Really? Can you do that? Obviously you can, but you have to make the decision to count it. If it felt like joy and looked like joy, then you wouldn't have to count it as joy. Can your response to a challenge that's causing you to wait actually produce joy? My answer is yes. How? Because we decide to act like what we believe is going to happen, not what things look like around us. James said, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, but let patience have its perfect work, that you may perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Knowing what? That just because you're waiting, this is not your undoing. The victory that's coming is going to cause your faith to shine. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. My thanks to Joe Mancuso and on the cast of the Full Life TV. Check them out right there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks again to Jody and Preston for another great broadcast. I really appreciate all the hard work you guys are doing over there at the tech booth. Until next week, I hope you found what you were looking for as you took the time today to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @expandingyoursearch on Facebook and Instagram and @expandingsearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We are available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for directions.